Hey team, in this week's Thriving Thursday episode, you are in for a real treat. We recently started doing something new at the Momentum Company, and 3 times per month we offer something called Momentum Labs. These are available to all of the people inside of our community. They're called Momentum Labs. One time a month we'll cover a leadership topic, another time something around management, and then on one of the weeks I cover a sales topic, and we give this out to all of our active members inside the Momentum Academy. We wanted to give you guys a sneak peek of what it looks like in this environment. So today you're going to hear from my wife, Christine Jewell, diving into 5 key things that can massively impact your performance. And so if you're somebody who cares about your performance and you want to upgrade your performance, today's podcast is absolutely for you. 30 minutes of pure fire informing you on the 5 key things that you can do today, that you can take a look at today to massively upgrade your performance tomorrow. Enjoy today's show.
Welcome to today's Momentum Lab. My name is Christine Jewell. I am your executive coach, the co-founder of the Momentum Company, executive coach, and high performance coach. I've been in the high performance coaching industry for about 25 years. I started back in the day in athletics, training athletes. I was an athlete, a world-class athlete. So I started training people a lot in the athletic world around what does it take to excel, to optimize our performance, speed to result, right? Everybody wants to get faster, get fitter, get better. And y'all know that if we're training hard, but we're training the wrong way, we are not going to get the results we want. What we will end up with is a lot of discouragement and frustration. And so there's this saying like 10,000 hours creates mastery, but the reality is 10,000 hours of poor practice of the wrong things creates 10,000 hours of massive frustration and a lot of the same things. 10,000 hours of right actions, right thinking, aligned environments, that starts to create real momentum. So today we're going to talk about what are the 5 biggest limiters of growth and how do we start to get really greater expansion in our life, and obviously how do we flip that around. And I want you to really enter into this with a fresh mindset. Number one, you have to adopt a student's mindset as you come into all of these trainings, because there are so many people who reach out, they want support, they want to grow, they want to see results, and you start telling them, you start training them, and you know what they say? Oh yeah, I know. I know. Back in the day, I used to have a holistic health and performance studio. People would come in all the time because they would want to lose weight, get fitter, get faster. You start telling them, you start training them, and their brain, I know it all, that I know it all bugs starts kicking in. And they're like, oh, I know this. And I'm like, no, you don't know it. You know about it. Because if you knew it, you would be different. Your results would be different. You would be doing it. It would be in your operating systems. Your results would be a reflection of what you actually know as embodied. Okay. So I want to really challenge you that as I'm going through some of these things that may sound familiar, and you might be like, okay, I'm really crushing it. I want you to really take on that student mindset and go, what am I missing here? Where can I get better? What don't I know? Right? How is this not already embodied? Okay, so we're going to start right out the gate. The number one factor of limiting growth, and by the way, these are not necessarily in order, but I've started with the first one, is your habits. Number one is stinking habits. I want you to think of habits as processes. Your habits are literally your processes. When you have the right processes and you have the right inputs, you always get the right output. Okay. So many of us think like we have sloppy habits. We have inconsistent habits. When you start stacking habits, you start stacking compounding results. If you're first starting to invest $100 or $50, it does not feel like much. You're like, man, this is barely making a dent. This thing is like hardly doing anything. You start working out. You're like, why am I sore? I don't even feel stronger. I feel worse than I did before I started working out. I actually feel weaker. I feel more sore. And so what happens is often as you start implementing a new habit, remember this, it's more painful before you get the result. Okay. So I am the sum of my habits, and are my habits starting to have that compounding effect? Takes consistency. So when you think about like when I wake up, what stacks do I have in place to generate energy at the top of the day? What habits do I have in place to generate focus blocks, focused attention in a world of scattered thinking? What do you do throughout the day that is your SOP, your standard operating procedure, to make sure that you're getting the results that you want? Most people don't have any standard operating procedures that they're aware of, or maybe they have a few. I just got off a coaching call with someone. We were actually talking about her family and looking at even her family as a business or a corporation, in a way where, have we trained the people around us for how we want them to show up? Do they know what success look like? Do they actually have a system in place that helps them get the results? Or are they just, I don't have a system to get that result? So number one limiter of growth is your habits, AKA your processes. So I want you to just pick, as I'm going through this, think about that one area of your life right now where you're not getting the results that you want. Okay. Maybe it's in sales. Maybe it's in relationship building. Maybe it's influence. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your marriage. One area. Okay. As I'm going through this training, I want you to focus on that one area of your life where you would love to be seeing different results. The results are not stacking. I want to ask you, do you have processes for that area? Have you defined them? Your processes are your habits. So we talk about Kaizen inside of our Thriving Leader program, and that is that 1% seemingly insignificant change that we're making every single day. 1% over 6 months is 180 degrees different. And I just really want to challenge, because I know some of you on this call right now that are live in this lab, and some of you listening, you're like, man, I have pretty good habits. Like, I'm in a good spot. Then let's push a little. Let's stretch a little, because you want growth. You want evolution. So if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to keep getting what you've always gotten. Okay. So if I keep doing what I've always done, I'm going to keep getting what I've always gotten. So every day, I want you to just be challenging yourself a little bit more. Can I tweak? Can I optimize? How can this be a little bit better? Maybe it's the mindset I bring to the situation, right? Second thing that is a limiter for your growth is belief systems. Your belief systems are your operating systems. Okay. So this is like the program, the software that's running behind the scenes. We've all had a piece of tech, whether it's a phone, a computer, or something, that we get it, it's new, it's awesome, it's working, it's crushing it. But all of a sudden, the more you expect from the machine, the more you're expecting of it, it's like the operating system needs upgrades, right? To be able to keep up with the downloads, when the information that's coming through, with the capabilities you want it to have. And so we are designed and created to always be evolving and always be growing. And part of that is our operating system. So this is more than just mindset. This is literally changing the highways, the pathways that your brain is, information is traveling in your body. Remember, 90% of what I do is directed by my thoughts. So we have a thought, we don't even realize we're having it. So anything that I'm doing, how I talk, how I move, what I click, what I mindlessly pick up my phone, every single thing that you're doing, 95% of it, you're doing on autopilot based on a program or an operating system that's running. Here's the other thing, 95% of your operating system is subconscious. That means you're not even aware that these thoughts are going on. They're like literally in your body. So a lot of people think that like thoughts are out here and I'm training my body. It's actually the other way around. A lot of our thoughts come up from our body, from our physiology that is stored. So past experiences that you've had, past memories that you've had. Maybe you went through something that was really hard, really challenging, and your body felt tense. It felt rigid. It felt anxious. It felt embarrassed, right? Whatever your body experienced, it's kind of like encodes that memory, and it encodes a whole bunch of thoughts around that. So it's like, oh man, every time you do this is what happens. Every time you put yourself out there and you reach out to make that sales calls, you're probably going to get rejected. Somebody's probably not going to respond. There's these patterns that get created, these grooves. They can be positive or they can be negative, but they're operating systems that are running. So one of the ways that you challenge this is you've got to pay attention to what is happening in your body, your physiology. So as you're going through your days, right? It's okay. Notice when you get tense. Notice when you get anxious. Notice when your body like seizes up, right? You get your chest is tight. You feel your blood pressure going. You got to start paying attention to your body because your body's always pointing you to an operating system right now that's probably faulty. Okay. So, one of the things when I work with clients and we're looking at, do I have a healthy operating system? My body usually feels calmer, more grounded, more at ease, stronger. Like I feel like there's a strength and a confidence that rises in. I don't have time to get into all those studies around the human body, but when we have a really healthy operating system, when we're aligned, you physically stand different. Your posture is different. Your voice sounds different when you talk, right? There's more confidence in your voice. So I want to challenge you right now. How are you upgrading? What are you doing to upgrade your belief systems? There's two things to pay attention to. Number one, you've got to interrupt the pattern. How you do this is by being aware something's running in the background right now. I'm glitching, right? It's like you're opening tabs, you're trying to do stuff, and it's like your blood pressure is rising, your heart rate's increasing, you could feel your shoulders getting tense. Like that's a glitch in your system. I want you to pay attention to that. The second thing is, what are you doing to replace the old with the new? Leaders are readers. If you guys are not reading, then pick up some books. You're always receiving information through your eyes, through your ears. So, what kind of information are you filling your days with? Are you just scrolling on social media? Are you complaining with other people? What are you doing to fill your mind and your body with upgraded operating systems? Things that challenge your way of thinking. I want to say this. If you're reading things and you're like, oh, yeah, I agree with this. Oh, yeah, I already know this. Oh, yeah, then you're not reading the right things. Your things that you are encountering should be challenging you, should be having you asking questions, should be having you want to dig deeper. Okay. Should be exposing you to something that you didn't have awareness before. So, how are you doing that in your life? Number one, habits or processes. Number two, we talked about belief systems, AKA operating systems. Do I need to get some new operating systems? We always need upgrade. How often do you have to upgrade the software on your phone? Often. Okay. Number three, people, the limiters of growth. I cannot stress this enough. I was on a call yesterday with someone and I said to him, he reached out about executive coaching, been running a pretty successful company, 95 people. That's awesome. But he said to me, I actually have never worked with a coach yet. And he also recognized that he is often the smartest person in the room. What happens if you're always the smartest person in the room? And if everybody's coming to you for all the answers and all the information and all the solutions, are you really being stretched? Are you really tapping in to your potential? Like, how are you even being stretched? You're in your comfort zone. If you know it, you're not being stretched. So, who is in your inner circle? What circles are you putting yourself in intentionally where other people in the room are elevating their way of thinking? You're in the right rooms when the conversations in those rooms are way different than 95% of the conversations you're having outside of those rooms. Okay, remember 95% of what we do is on autopilot. So we tend to gravitate to the places and spaces where it's familiar. People think like us, people talk like us. This feels safe, this feels familiar. So we got to immerse ourselves in people, coaching groups, calls, circles where people are willing to really challenge conversations, to stretch each other's thinking, to share best practices, willing to put themselves out there, maybe sound a little bit like, I know this might sound like a crazy idea, but have you ever thought of this? So often that could be coaching circles, it can be peer mentorship groups. You can have people in your life that are on the same trajectory as you. They want growth, they want expansion. Again, this was a conversation we had yesterday where someone said, I'm surrounded by people that are super awesome humans, right? But they don't desire the same level of growth that I want.
Quick interruption to the podcast here. Listen, at the end of the day, most of you have been through some sort of training and development. If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably interested in personal and or professional development. And here's the reality. In the corporate space, most of it's bad. Let's be honest, most of it has been a death by PowerPoint situation that really doesn't progress you, your team. It doesn't move the needle. It's not aligned to business priorities. That is why I really am asking you to take a look at the Thriving Leader program. In the show notes below, go to the link and click through to our Thriving Leader website. The Thriving Leader was designed with the learner in mind. Adult learners today don't need another death by PowerPoint situation. They don't want to waste their time going to a training, being at an event that doesn't actually get them the results and that isn't actually relevant to where they are in life. The three biggest challenges that leaders have today are time management, stress, and work-life balance. The Thriving Leader works to solve those and so many more things. Click on in the link in the show notes, learn about the Thriving Leader, and join us at an upcoming public event and see what it's all about. We believe that today's leaders hold a moral obligation to create environments within which their people can thrive. Whether you're the one leader on your team or whether you're the leader of 10, 20, or more, it's time to see what you can do to create an environment within which you and others can truly, truly thrive. 6 months from now, a year from now, 18 months from now, the time will have gone by. The question I have for you is, during that time frame, are you surviving or are you thriving? Click the link today.
And so we can get stuck in those places, well meaning, well intended, because we want that connection. But my advice is always, hey, love the people where they're at. Make sure that you change your circles, that you are always stretching and asking yourself, like, am I bringing that to other people? Am I the one that's raising the conversation right now? Or am I defaulting to the conversation? Okay. Number 4, and this kind of ties into people, but I want to talk about our environment. Okay. Because our environment is literally like, I'm in my office right now. As I'm recording this, I am in my home office. This is where I coach clients. So when I sit down at this table or at this desk, my mind is already going coach mode. I'm already going training mode. I'm going in delivery, doing execution. This is not the place where I get my best ideas. This is not the place where I get my creative downloads. This is not the place where I do copywriting, really finding solutions to complex problems. This is the place where I execute, where I deliver, where I produce. And this is important because a lot of us, we just keep the same environment all the time. And we're trying to use one environment to do all these things. But when you're moving out of like production mode into something that requires you maybe to be more right brain, more creative thinking, more expansive thinking, does your environment, is it conducive to inspiration? Does it actually inspire you? When you are really inspired, motivated, like excited about a new idea, a fresh objective, you got to see things differently than you normally do. I want to ask you, where were you? Maybe you were in a coffee shop. Maybe you were driving. Maybe you were on vacation. Maybe you were just gardening in the backyard. But chances are, and there's so much study around this, that our best ideas, the best solutions, the most innovative thinking, expansive thinking, growth mindedness does not happen in familiar environments. What familiar environments do is they keep reproducing and reinforcing the 95% that's on autopilot. This is another thing that's really important. And I'm spending a little extra time on this because you don't realize every single thing in your environment is a trigger. So right now I have all these books on this bookshelf. Every single title, when I walk in my office and I see titles, it matters what I'm looking at. It matters if there's clutter on my desk or not, because clutter usually creates internal chaos. Every word has an association. So when I'm thinking about setting up my environment, I'm setting it up intentionally to create an expansive environment. I care about the light. I care about what I have in here. I care about how much order there is because I want an organized mind. I want an environment that inspires me, and I'm going to move often. So a simple example of this is like this morning, I was upgrading our sales system on the back end. So when people reach out to book a discovery call with me to work together, from the time they book a discovery call to the time they get on the phone, I was upgrading a system of communication that would share with them, that would drip out some emails and content about my methodology, what's different about this coaching program, some case studies. So I was creating a system that would reach out. That was a creative process. You guys, I did it while I was walking around outside. I was working out. I was voice recording while I was moving. I was leveraging AI to help me organize my thoughts and put it into a package so that when I sit down at my desk, it's just about executing. Okay. But that stuff, like it came so fast. I created that whole thing in about 15 minutes. Whereas if I would have tried to do that at my desk, I guarantee it would take me days because I would have gotten distracted. I would have left. I would have opened a tab. I would have gotten exhausted. So pay attention to the environments that energize you. Okay. What are the environments that energize you? Does the environment where you do the most of your work actually energize you or drain you? I want to challenge you to mix it up, challenge it. Okay. I also want to say this about it, that the times that I've had the greatest leaps in my financial growth, okay, my salary jumping, the amount that people were paying me for coaching, business ideas, was always when I was out of the familiar environment. Not one has come from the familiar space. Okay. The last one that I want to come through, and this is a big one, is as a limiter of growth, is the illusion of security. The illusion of security. What does this mean? This means clinging to comfort, clinging to what's familiar, clinging to what's predictable because we know it pays the bills. We know the reaction we're going to get. We can predict what's going to happen. The number one thing that keeps people from expanding, including myself, I'm always being challenged on this, is how willing am I to get uncomfortable right now? And by the way, that is one of the questions that I ask potential clients when they come to work with me is how willing are you right now on a scale of 1 to 10 to leave the familiar thing, okay, that seems to have worked for you in the past and do something completely different. That is terrifying to most people. And rightfully so. We love comfort. We have a high need for security. But this is really about moving into the place of faith where you have to activate vision. I can see it. I don't quite know how it's going to work out. I have no idea how it's going to come together. I don't have all the pieces yet, but I'm taking a move towards the thing that I know in my bones, in my heart, in my spirit, I'm being pulled towards. And a lot of us live in this place of tension where we're doing things, we're maybe getting some decent results. We're good at what we do. You might even be an expert. And this is like the most dangerous trap of all when you get really good at something. Because like now you're the man, you're the woman, like you know how to do that. It like the ego loves to live in this place, right? I know who I am when I operate in this way. I know the operating systems. I've got it dialed in, but we don't realize we are robbing ourselves of the next level. And so I'm going to share this analogy with you all today that I used yesterday on a coaching call. And I'm coaching someone that is an expert in his field. By all means, he has made it. Like he is top of his game, decades of success, sought after, lots of knowledge, letters after his name, all of it. But he just recently went through a season that really rattled him and shook him up. He had some deep personal loss. His daughter passed away, and also professionally, all of a sudden, with that personal loss, there was like a shakeup professionally. And all of a sudden, it was like questions like, should I be doing this? What am I even doing? Do I even have what it takes anymore? Like, it's amazing how sometimes when the familiar things like aren't there anymore, we really start questioning our worth and our value and what we're doing. And here's the thing, this is the perfect moment to upgrade your identity because you're questioning your identity. Exactly. Because your new life, the new territory you want to take over is going to require a new version of you. He's questioning, oh man, do I have what it takes? Because he's so used to doing things a certain way. Everything that's required of him now is new. That's a good thing. You're creating new systems, new mental operating systems. So as we were talking yesterday, I shared this analogy of so many times we want to live this life where there's more flow and there's more freedom and like we can have amazing experiences, but we fall too in love with the place that we've been. So I used this example of a surfer on a wave, and some of you may have heard this before. But when a surfer really wants to ride epic waves, right? Like have the best waves of his life. He's not trying to be the wave. So many of us are trying to be the power, the source of power, the source of the force that's coming in our life, right? A surfer is there. He's just sitting, right? He's sitting in the ocean. You got to be in the right environment. You got to be in the right spot. And he's observing what's going on. Am I tuned into actually what's going on around me? Or am I so distracted because I'm plugged into everything else? My environment is crappy, right? Or am I fully present? Am I in the right environment, fully present? And the surfer knows he can feel the water stirring, right? Something is shifting, man. I could feel it. I could start to feel the power coming. And it's about catching the wave at the right time. What happens if a surfer catches the wave too early? He gets crushed, right? The wave crust, it total, like you can have broken bones, you can get crushed underwater. It is not a good scene if you try to go prematurely. What happens if he goes too late? He misses it, right? The wave comes and he just kind of, it goes over him and it just keeps on. So he missed that moment of catching the wave. But what happens if he catches the wave because he was tuned in and he knew when to go and he knew when to pop up? You get to ride that wave, right? You get to ride this season like where you are experiencing results and it feels amazing and you're dialed in, you're in alignment. But there's a moment where the wave starts to kind of peter out and you know it's time to get off the board, right? It's time to get back in the water and catch the next wave. And here's the thing, so many of us, we're still trying to ride waves that have ended, right? We're like out there, we're like washed up on the beach, and we're like, why am I not riding any more waves? Because you were holding on to that last one for so long. You were holding on to the place of familiarity. Maybe you feel washed up on the beach. And so I love to use stories and analogies like this just to kind of change our context and our frame. As for me, I want to partner with God. I want to partner with the right timing, the right order. My job is to be prepared and positioned to paddle. Okay. So if you want to grow and you know that you want to expand, remember it's like waves. Growth isn't nonstop growth. It's not like the waves keep crashing on top of each other. There's a wave, it builds, you ride it, it settles, then there's another one. Everything in nature is cyclical. Work is cyclical. Projects are cyclical. Growth is cyclical. So sometimes it looks like everything is thriving, and sometimes it looks like, man, everything is dying. It's fall, the leaves are falling off the tree. It's winter, nothing is happening. But we know that in those moments where it feels like nothing is happening, that's the moment to build deeper roots. That's the moment to upgrade your operating systems. That's the moment to start really reevaluating, am I in the right environments? That's the moment to start looking around. What's around me? What people am I surrounding myself with? What conversations am I a part of? Am I too comfortable? Because it's what we do in the different seasons that determines how well we flourish and grow in the next cycle. I often see this, like everything that feels like a setback is often a promotion if we get it. And we don't waste this season or this moment of sitting in the water waiting for the next wave, thinking I'm gonna do all this stuff when I'm in growth mode. No, you do it now. You prepare now. So some of you might feel like, man, I'm in spring, I'm in summer, things are popping, things are blooming. Maybe some of you feel like it's harvest time over here. I am eating the fruit of my work. I'm making money, I'm closing deals. And some of you listening might feel like, man, I'm in winter. I'm just sitting here like a sitting duck on the water. Nothing seems to be happening. I'm looking, I don't see anything. Then are you preparing? How are you preparing? Because when you're ready, when you're positioned and you are prepared, it's only a matter of time before, boom, the next thing comes, the next opportunity. And then you got to be ready to move. So I'm going to recap those things as we think about what does growth mean. Number one, I just really want to challenge everybody that growth does not mean continual fruit. Okay. There are seasons where we see the evidence of growth, and there are seasons that we don't see it with our eyes, but we are still growing. We might be growing deeper roots. We might be growing deeper awareness. We might be growing by shifting out of some places, out of some ways of thinking into new ones. Number one, What systems do you get to upgrade in terms of your habits? Okay, that's the compound effect. I want you to think of it. My habits are like little investments. And when there is a huge ROI on compounding interest over time, but it takes patience. It takes discipline. It takes not being emotional. So, what habit in that one area of your life do we get to really start to create better systems around? Okay. Number two, what about your operating systems, your beliefs? Okay. Remember, 95% is directed by unconscious thoughts. So, what are you doing? What are you going to do to get new thoughts into your head, into your body, new experiences into your body so that they create new thoughts? Because every time you have a new experience, it generates a whole new set of thoughts. Okay, Melissa's on this call right now. Those of you who are maybe listening to the podcast, but I remember there was a time where she wasn't really traveling. She wasn't adventurous and out there seeing the world. But all of a sudden, we had a couple experiences and going to new places, new experience. And all of a sudden, it's what a whole new world opened up, whole new operating system started to drop in. Okay. Number three, people, environments. Who am I? Who is in my circles? What rooms am I in? What conversations am I having that I get to upgrade? Number four, let me look at my environment. Right now, you're sitting in your environment. Do you love the office you're sitting in? If not, let's upgrade it. Do you love where you are working from? Where are you going to get creative downloads and ideas? When you are inspired, where are you? Let's start spending more time there. And number five, this is the toughest one. What are you willing to put down that's felt really comfortable and familiar and secure? And you're willing to trade it for something even better. This is where faith comes in, y'all. I'm a woman of faith. So by me being able to partner with God on this, it has made it a lot more palatable. But the reality is, you have to embrace an adventurer's heart, a spirit of adventure. Otherwise, you're going to be that person that's sitting in the same place and watching everybody else growing and evolving and really expanding in their life and going, well, and then you're going to start making excuses for why it hasn't happened to you. And it was the wrong time and nothing ever worked out for you. And like, then you're actually going to believe the BS of the lies of excuses that start coming in. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys today. I'm going to end where I started, is that do not get the I know this bug. Okay. The bug, I know this, I know this. Really embrace the heart of a student. Like, what do I have to learn from today? What is one thing that I could start to implement that I haven't been implementing? Because it is like one thing, one move will start to give you different results just like that. And 1% every day is 180 degrees in 6 months. The best way to implement this is number one, take immediate action on one thing. And number two, teach this to somebody else. Teach it to your spouse, teach it to your kids, teach it to somebody on your team. This is how we start to get the work working for us.